excited? Oh, you better believe it. Here in Georgia, lots of people garden and grow their very own vegetables and herbs. But this morning, we were talking about basil. Yeah, this time of year, it's growing like wildfire, and we want to give you some ideas on some of the best ways to fit basil into your very own meals, and it really does smell good. Joining me this morning, we've got culinary genius and event planner extraordinaire. Is that a fitting title for you, Mr. Sean O'Keefe?
I think it's a fitting title.
You like it?
I do.
We're going to roll with it. And Jen is absolutely right. You got it smelling really good here in the kitchen this morning. We're talking about basil and all the wonderful ways that you can cook it up. But before we get started, Sean, tell us a little bit about some of the benefits of eating basil.
Half a cup of basil has 97.7% of the daily allowance of vitamin K.
Really?
It's also high in manganese and iron, and it's one of those sort of simple things that offers a lot. Right? The smell, the flavors, the taste, and the health benefits.
And the health benefits. The vitamin K, I need more of that in my diet. So let's get started. What are you cooking for us this morning?
Okay, so the first thing you said was about cooking out of the garden.
Yeah.
And right now in Georgia, everyone's garden is starting to grow. So we're full with tomatoes and zucchinis and summer squash and stuff.
Love
and that
spring stuff.
Sort of brings in mind for me Le Cirque in New York and their Pasta Primavera.
Okay.
Which is sort of one of those things that if you know they make it, they'll make it for you, but it's not on the menu.
Oh.
And most often, people like, when you think of Pasta Primavera, it likens you to sort of that overcooked vegetable kind of soupy sauce for pasta, which is not what this is at all.
Okay, so this is a little heartier.
Full of flavor, and everything is crisp and light and clean. The only thing that offers a little bit of calorie in this is the cream that you use to make the basil sauce.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, so
let's do it.
So for the heartier vegetables, I've blanched and shocked them. So they go into a hot water bath, and then immediately into ice water to stop cooking. That'll ensure the color, the vitamin content, and the crispness of the vegetables.
I was just going to mention how vibrant the green in your broccoli and your green beans over there really looks.
All blanched and shocked.
Blanched, okay.
So then you start with onion, saute the onion, trying to avoid color, and then add a little garlic as we have in there, and then some yellow and red pepper. This dish is really about color, right, and how it looks at the final presentation. So we're going to add in a little bit of carrot, and then I love fresh asparagus, and then green beans, and then zucchini, and then yellow squash, and then
going and going.
Let's not put that one in yet, and then broccoli. And then over really high heat, all we really want to do is start moving those vegetables around and allow them to sort of reheat in the sauce that started. Typically, you'll get a little bit of stuff burning under the bottom of the cast iron pan. All that's going to add beautiful flavor, because the second part of this recipe is when we're going to deglaze using some vegetable stock to keep it vegetarian, and then some whole cream.
Okay. So
and then that'll reduce and thicken, and then when we finish it, we'll finish with a chiffonade of basil, which is fresh basil, literally translated from French, it means torn in pieces. And a chiffonade is a very simple thing. You start with a bunch of basil like this. Take the largest leaf that you have, and then wrap all the smaller leaves inside.
Just kind of making it more compact.
Just a little parcel, it's
cut.
easier to use. And then with your fingers, using this knuckle as a guide, you're just going to thread yourself down through the basil. That leaf on the outside keeps everything in place. And then you have all these really nice little
you make it look so easy, Sean. And
it is easy.
It is easy. And, we mentioned that during this time is when basil is at its best, right? It's easy to grow. But how do we keep it fresh? Like, how do we store basil? Do you have any tips for us?
I store it in the garden living.
So just pick it as you need it.
It is. It's really problematic, because if you go into the garden and you cut a stalk of basil, you bring it in and you wash it. Basil is so fragile. And there's so much oil located on the underside of the leaf, back on this side, that as soon as you get it hit with water, it'll start to brown. And as you know, the moment you tear basil, it starts to oxidize as well.
Yeah,
so you can't do it.
Very fragile. You have to, as soon as you pick it, you got to eat it. You got to cook it.
Even the classic way to maintain herbs, after you just wash them and sort of pat them dry with a paper towel, you'd roll them in paper towel and put them in a Ziploc bag to keep them really fresh.
So that will help, because I don't grow any basil at home. Not right now. Maybe I'll get started. So I purchase my basil from the store, and I do find that if I don't use it in a day or two, it's done. It turns brown, just like you said.
But you'll buy basil at the store, and you'll spend $2.49 at Whole Foods for 3 whispers of basil. And the plant is only $2.49 itself. And what we did here is sort of to copy sort of what goes on in the garden. Okay. I have moss beds around my basil, and then I keep marigolds next to it, and that keeps the creatures away.
Very cute. So you can put it in a pot like this, or you can even do the container gardening with this as well,
Exactly. And then basil tops are the most exciting part. It's the newest, freshest, youngest leaf.
Oh,
so that has the most flavor.
And it smells so good. As soon as you touch the basil, and then you
the oil goes right to your hands.
Smell your fingers. The oil is right there.
Absolutely.
Very good. Okay, so talk to us about our dish. Is it almost complete?
Well, what we're going to do with this is keep going, I think, a little bit for this segment and then on to the next segment. Okay. So I'll plate this for you and have it all finished by the next segment.
Yes.
But we can talk about other basil dishes that I've made this evening.
Real quick, tell us what you got.
Okay, so these are mini gutted, they're hollowed out grape tomatoes that have been stuffed with chicken and celery salad with fresh basil. They're light and they're crispy, and then this is just the typical caprese. Sliced tomato, buffalo mozzarella, basil, and then a reduction of balsamic vinegar.
That is fantastic. Sean, thanks for walking us through all the great ways that you can make wonderful dishes using basil. And to learn more about basil and all things event planning, go to SeanO'KeefeEvents.com. And stick around because Sean is not done just yet. In the next half hour, like you said, Sean, you're sticking around and you're going to help us decorate the perfect summer table. So keep it right here on Better Mornings Atlanta.